Yeah, you know, again, honestly, if you are a geometry master, I feel like there's a lot of play for Sova that we haven't yet seen. It just does require you to be that specialist. So looking to see indeed some great stuff from Gangster here as we kick things off in the first map of this best of three between Sentinels and Immortals. And I see a lot of frenzies still, Sean.
Well, this is played on the old patch, so we see the frenzies armors. It's capable of being purchased in this tournament. There's the early Sova arrow to get the info at A. It's not going to get a lot, and you can see the rotate now coming towards mid. This is going to be a super hard take for the attackers.
Sort of trying to balance this angle here. You don't want to go too deep, but does have the dark cover there to give him a little bit of extra play. We'll see, though, whether or not he's going to be able to find anything here. It's very, very nice to pick off one and fall back there. Not really losing all that much. That's a great start for Immortals, giving up some space, allowing Sentinels to take rows, but they still know what's going on. They're still in control on this defense. Sentinels need to figure out which way do they go here as they continue to pressure these positions. And that's a good pick from Sick. That will open things up on B Heaven. So now Sentinels do have a lot of space to work with on both sides of the map, but they're going to be pushing towards this B site. They will lock out the B stairs position as well. Things looking quite good here to get this spike planted now. The Sentinels looking for potentially a B main setup. See, obviously, the bomb plant opportunities there have changed with recent map updates, but nice push from JC Stanny. Sentinels can't quite seem to stabilize on the site here at the moment. Still trying to get that spike planted. It's going to be down to the battling with those frenzies. And once again, trades back and forth, leaving it just down to one, and JC Stanny will be taken down by Zom. So, it looked like Sentinels had so many chances there. They managed to hold on really nicely.
So I'm always so impressed by Sentinels and just their approach to the early rounds of the games they play. Like Sick putting up the wall inside B on attack. It forces the rotate into the B site, makes mid a little bit weaker. That's when Sentinels goes into mid. They take ropes control, and then they, pop out on B Heaven. The Jet is left held all by herself, and the site is just lost so quickly. And this is from a 4 versus 5 scenario. That just shows how well they got the fights they wanted.
Yeah, I just love how well they managed the chaos. Such a good team in those moments where there's so many things happening at once and still just managing to have position together. And we'll get that mid-pressure coming through for Sentinels. And once again, Immortals have to respect it. They are going to be playing a lot more passively this time around. Ooh, and with that mid-pressure, we get an immediate cancel into an A push.
And this is, again, a very well-played round by Sentinels. 6 starts off at B, slows B, puts tons of pressure. You see it forces 2 people to play B. Meanwhile, Dapper, hard-lurking A, breaks the drone, gets the camera out, and that opens up this A hit right here.
A lot of damage there with that Stinger right at the back of the side. Nature with a second one off the Stinger. That wall as well, making life a little bit more complicated to get to that site, trying to use it to their advantage to gain that space, but just seems too much to handle at this point as Sick tries to fall back, but there is no falling back here. Immortals are locking it down, only losing one player. Really great hold there.
Yeah, fantastic teamwork between the Heaven player and the player in sight, constantly peeking off of each other, never over-committing to their engagements, always getting the frag, falling back, which is pretty much all you look to do when you have a Stinger, right? You're going to get the frag, have hardly any bullets left. So they did such a good job of keeping behind, like these very weird angles. Like they're behind the sign, in the Heaven smoke, and they're just popping back into cover after they're getting their one frag.
Still those 5 Stingers out and about here for Sentinels. Such a scary gun.
It really is, because one frag and the whole setup just collapses.
Ooh, trying to just combat this mid play for control, not wanting to give it up this time, but Sentinels will be loving that, eating them up there on that mid take, able to now to push through to B Heaven, using that momentum, that speed, locking off the B stairs position, strengthening their attack. Chemicals will be alone here with this Stinger, has to do a lot of damage. Able to get one, but cannot find a way to reset off of that, which will leave Immortals in quite the desperate position. Nature in the 1v3, running into the wall. Very little for him to do in this position. And Sinatra looks like he's going to try to take him down, but unfortunately not working out for Sinatra. Still some damage to be done here for Nature. keeping that pressure on. Would be nice, of course, to do as much damage as possible, get some weapons out of the hands of the Sentinels. And there's only so much he can do. Dapper will take him down, and Sentinels will be looking pretty strong here.
It's really such a crazy scenario when you watch rounds like that play out, where there's so many stingers in play, because, you know, say the team wins the opposing team wins the second round, and they're trading rounds back and forth. So in the third round, you see like 7 stingers in play. And you're like, why don't they just play at distance? Well, you can't really play at distance because there's too many angles to cover. So you have to take risky fights like that. You have to play the coin flip game. So that's what makes those third rounds so random. And you can see it's just so dangerous playing against 3 stingers in middle.
We do have the operator coming out quickly here for Immortals. Be interesting to see what they can do with that. They have already announced its presence. Natra continues to harass from B main. They can take control of this orb. So early B main control. And we'll see that typical sniper shenanigans here from Sentinels, just lurking towards that A side of the map. So this is very much a default setup now for Sentinels, wanting to slow down the game a little.
Yeah, and again, they have Dapper lurk this A site. They're trying to keep 2 people at A, keep them honest, and then open up the B hit for later. Zom's flashing B heaven, smoking B heaven. Sit getting the orb at B early round, gives him the res. This is a massive win in the early round for Sentinels. And they're just poised to, you know, take ropes control now for free. And it looks like it actually might turn into an A hit all of a sudden.
How much damage can Nature do here? He's going to hear the dropping, and he's going to have to do a lot to try to hold on to this one. Gets one headshot, the full back with the cage, and that is beautiful there for Immortals, locking it off. And look how much time is left here for Sentinels. Almost nothing on the clock to get the spike planted. It's a desperation push now towards this A heaven position, looking for the plant on the A side, but there is so much to deal with to get there and just not enough time to do it. Nature peeling off one more player as they start to move forward, and Immortals lining them up and finishing them off. Great round from them, actually punishing Sentinels choosing to take a slower pace, as it all came down to that 1 kill from Nature around ropes.
Yeah, absolutely brutal too. I mentioned the res. Of course, the player that falls in that, you know, triple rope setup is sick. The res is out of the round from then on. And very well done by Immortals right there to hold off that hit.
Who will see better, Amir?
Oh, there we go. Stingers for days once again. Gonna be seeing a lot of this.
Ooh, early A hit coming in. Slow heaven stops the rotate. Blind coming through elbow. Gangsta's gonna have to get 2 here.
He's able to get one and actually escape somehow, so I guess we'll take that one. And the site will go to Sentinels. However, they do not have any post-plant positioning here. They're all stuck backside. That's not a good prospect, even with the spike ticking away. Backs against the wall. They're going to have a hard time here. Immortals are slowly but surely pressing on this defense. And then, again, it's nowhere to go. Zom's able to find one here, but they're getting so close. 3 players pushing from elbow right now. There's the hole from Zoms. A double off the Stinger. Out comes the Classic, the swap to the Phantom. Although Shot Up has his number at the end of the rounds. The defuse will come through. That was a good effort. Again, really hard to hold those spike plants when you don't have any screens control, no heaven control, and no ramp control.
Yeah, I don't think they realized that Gangsta, you know, weaseled his way into screens and got away. Because I think if they realized that, Sick reses the person that he takes out. But you can tell, you know, there's a little bit of confusion. Sick ends up going into the site, plants a spike, and he never gets to use his res again this round. It's actually a big difference maker, because I think Sentinels probably steals this round if the res comes in.
We might get Immortals stabilizing here if they're able to pick up this round as well.
I have the spike.
Will we see any mix-ups, you think, from Sentinels here?
I think this round is the last round. If they lose it, is the last round we'll see this standard default. They might switch it up and, you know, go into weird pocket strats. Holy cow, what a spam.
That's awesome. Just knowing exactly where they have to be standing. Sentinels pressuring B heaven pretty hard. They've got ropes control as well. And it's a retake setup here from Immortals. This is actually a really smart way to play this. And Sentinels may walk into this B setup without being any the wiser to this A setup until it's too late. All chemicals at the back there, the operator trying to get the rocket over. Oh, no more satchels to gain any height for that. That's unfortunate for Shot Up, but still, Sentinels are having to force their way onto the site. It's not a good look here. You can see Nature's able to do a lot from that double stack position. There comes the res finally from Sick, and they are starting to gain some ground here. Out come the Blaze, though, from Chemicals, trying to hold the backside as best he can. Operator out. Oh, great stuff there from Chemicals, finding a marvelous shot. But this is going to be down to Shot Up now, creeping in from spawn, able to take down Sick, but can he manage to actually clutch the round? Stopping the plant just in the nick of time. Dapper only has so much time to work with here.
10 seconds
Shot Up decides to walk around. A classic move here. We'll have to see if Dapper can read this one. It's all about the guesswork. And Dapper, he's not going to be able to find it. Great headshot from Shot Up. The timing was perfect.
That was actually very well played by Shot Up. You know, taking the one-on-one spam right before the neural theft comes in, and then backing out, allowing the plant to come in, repositioning. That was a super, super important one-on-two for Shot Up to win. The res comes out. See, Sentinels is on a very, very broken buy if they decide to invest in this round.
Oh my god, Chemicals.
Yeah, it wasn't looking good for him. It wasn't looking good for him when he had the ult and he was just throwing the blades everywhere. That shot turned everything around real quick.
Yeah, definitely did. And we're back to Stinger City here for Sentinels. You were talking about how the next gun round will have to see a mix-up from Sentinels, but here, you know, we're going to see what is going to look like heavy A pressure. They want to leave mid open a bit. They might actually try to take the spike towards B, possibly. Again, Immortals will expect this to be a full commit, I'd imagine, into the A site. They've rotated everyone off almost towards that A site. So indeed, there is space to work with towards that B site. And we'll see, indeed, Sick is making his way up B heaven, trying to find a way to do something here. But I think he has a suspicion that he's a little bit too slow. He can't just dive onto the site, trying to catch the rotations instead. It's scary stuff right now. And Dapper, in the meanwhile, has found a perfect timing into the flank.
Dan.
There is some crazy stuff that can be done here by Sentinels. Dapper, how many can he find here? There goes the Stinger, only for one, though. That's unfortunate for Dapper, but maybe he's created enough time and space for Sentinels to find a plant. There comes the TP onto the site to get that spike down. It's a 2 versus 3 somehow. This is unbelievable how Sentinels have managed to maneuver themselves into this position. The Stinger again doing damage. Up to Sick now. 1 versus 1. Oh. And he's going to nail it. Sick. Beautiful stuff. But you know what? You got to give the credit to the whole team there. The way they manipulated those rotations was amazing.
That was gorgeous. It always felt like there was a Sentinels player behind enemy lines on both sites. We just got both views. Sick in B heaven, Dapper lurking through A. They were constantly just pushing and pulling the rotations. I mean, even Shot Up got flanked inside vents that round. It's just full map control coming out of Sentinels, but they do it in such a way where you think they're doing just a pocket strat. They just keep lurkers all over the map.
Oh, that's really impressive. B main pressure again. So it looks like those defaults we were seeing from Sentinels. Oh. Did I hit those? Oh, Chemicals in trouble. Sick actually over at the top of the wall. Lots of pressure here. 3 players to respond, though. And Sinatra, that speaking of finding timings lurking forward, there is surely no way he's found this flank. That's unbelievable. Taking down Chemicals for free. The trade is at least there for Immortals, but Sentinels, they are so good in this spot, in this chaos. There's so many holes. There's Dapper now creeping A heaven. If they slow this one down, Dapper's going to do so much damage if they can stay alive, and it doesn't even matter, in fact. Dapper may not have to do any lifting here at all. Defense itself has been strong from Sentinels on the back of the B bomb site.
Sentinels are such a treat to watch. Just that I really do love how when I watch them, you can never guess what they're going to do because they're constantly reacting on the fly and just using every piece of a utility they have. Right at the start of that round, they slow nade B main, push the Opera back. See Sinatra preparing for the boom bot. all this is aided by Chemicals missing a couple shots. But then Zoms, who also has an ult, can make presence across the map super far away. And he can Omen ult to the back of B if things go well at B. And Dapper, meanwhile, is making presence at A and then hard lurking through there. There's so many things you have to worry about when playing this on split.
Ooh, I like this actually as a response, perhaps, maybe to try to go for A main aggression from Immortals. But lots of pressure B main, and once again from Sentinels, that wall from Sick is doing damage, taking down 2 players. That might be an open and shut case as far as the B side is concerned. So much positioning here for Sentinels.
Spike planted.
This is still a winnable situation for Immortals, especially with a recon like that. But Sick taking out Nature from Heaven, locking it behind a smoke. This is now unwinnable very quickly.
I thought that we were going to see them trying to deal with Dapper. Like, if this was going to be a slower default, obviously this isn't a gun round, so Sentinels are playing it a little bit differently. But when we go into the next buy round, it would be cool to see Immortals focusing on trying to just push Dapper away, getting rid of his trips at the beginning of the rounds, knowing that Sentinels at the start of the round, at the start of their default, typically Dapper's alone, typically they're not looking to hard push anything. So it should be fairly safe in the early timings to be aggressive somewhere. And so far, A main is probably the best prospect for Immortals, but we'll have to see, what they decide to do to mix it up. It does feel like, as you say, Sean, Sentinels have been just perfect on just playing these rotations and lurks.
Yeah.
So,
which is odd because you would feel like having a Sova in play would actually help that, right? You would be able to find out if Dapper's alone at A, at various points in the round, whether you use a recon or a drone. You can do that at B as well, or you can use a camera aggressively at B or A. But we're not really seeing that, and Sentinels is holding all of the cards right now, and Immortals is just having to guess.
yeah, it's definitely looking tough.
There's that.
But Sinatra.
You can see that early drone is used out of Gangster right there. It pushes Dapper off of A, but they still have 2 players at A. It hasn't really done anything for them. And meanwhile, they have the 2 players lurking mid, 2 holding B. And it's another map, or another round where Sentinels has full map control.
Trying to bait out some utility, surely here, Sick. He's been on top of that wall a lot of the time. I don't think they realize that there is company very close in JC Stanny. We'll get Shazam taking down Chemicals, but it really is up to JC Stanny to have a really huge performance here. This is really scary because there goes the Boombot finally. Oh, taking down Sinatra. That's the showstopper out of the picture, so that's something. But, res onto Sinatra, so scratch that. It's still in the picture. Nature will have to do so much damage by himself here, and somehow he is alive, but not for too much longer. Rocket straight to his face, but not before Sick can take him down. And, well, Dapper's still just lurking around A, causing problems.
Douglas Apper. What a troll this man is.
Oh, so it's really interesting in that round for me, at least, to see that the way that some of the subtle differences in utility usage in the default, just seeing that instead of using that boom bot towards B main or anything like that, we had it being saved by Sinatra. And this is an interesting aspect of conditioning with the boom bot. So you often don't want to necessarily just have to kill it every round. Sometimes you want to just let it kind of run its course. And if that's what you're doing as the opponent receiving the boom bot, then you as the attacker in this case don't need to use the boombot for that anymore. Like, you've conditioned them to hold back. So it's cool to see that Sinatra had it available for the mid plays and the later site clears.
Exactly.
In this case.
And even looking at, so that round Zoms actually smoked the front of B. That smoke that Sick put up the wall inside, that was Zom's smoke. He did that so that way Sick could put up the wall. And that way when the smoke faded, Shazam would be post on it with an op. So you can see they're kind of baiting Immortals into taking these lines. Like, there's nowhere you can hold B from unless you're directly in front or you're on the left. So if they didn't see someone straight ahead, if Shazam didn't get that kill on Chemicals, they would know for a fact that there's someone in that left corner. And JC Sani would have gotten traded out. So you can see that's the power of that particular strat that Sentinels just ran.
They are looking really good right now. Honestly, the start was so difficult for them, and I feel like so many teams wouldn't have been able to bounce back, but they've looked like they have not been phased at all. And
I mean, Shaz started this game like 0-6. He's their star jet player. He started 0-6. They're winning 6-4 on attack side of split. It's like it's like that never happened, but it did. They're just that good.
They are walking up here, contacting into B Heaven, not expected at all there by Chemicals. And it's going to be tough for JC Stanley, only one from him, from his Stinger. And there's a gap in the wall there, which will allow some play for Shot Up. And Nature again, is trying to anchor this side, but he's about to get split from both sides. Oh, he does manage to find one at least. And that might give Shot Up a timing here to get himself some action from Rafters. Spike going down, and indeed, starting to look a lot better. Up to Sinatra for the clutch. There comes the satchel. The rockets miss. Sinatra able to dodge everything. Somehow, some way, Sinatra's got the goods, and that's the round in the bag for Sentinels.
That is actually just silly, man. What? He dodged the ult satchel, killed that man in midair, and then was so poised to just win the one-on-one after.
It doesn't really seem fair, does it?
It really doesn't seem fair. It doesn't. It's not fair. It's just not fair.
Oh my god, that's gotta feel so bad for Shot Up. He had such a good timing as well, like the way that he was playing around B stairs. He just found perfect timings, but doesn't matter.
They're just gonna run it down this. I feel like after a round like that, you're super confident. And they're just going to do something crazy. Whenever I watch Sentinels, they do crazy stuff after they win rounds like that.
Oh, Dapper finally getting taken down. In fact, Chemicals is actually on the upper A ramp at this point.
Oh, see, look at this, Dan. He pings that and spams it through Zom smoke. Now he has the wall ready. He walls. Omenult comes in to clear back sight. The Boombot's coming in as well. Nature is in big trouble here.
He's managed to find his way into a safer position here, trying to find some kind of space to work with. Eventually he has taken down Snarcher over the top of the wall there, causing problems. He's very weak though, so quite susceptible to being spammed. And Zoms is actually going to be the one getting spammed. It looks like Immortal's in a good spot here. It's still, the spike has yet to be planted, and it may not even go down at this point. Sinatra has to find a way out of this position. And Shot Up knows precisely where he is, and there we go. All right, so Immortals picking up one round at the end of the first half for a 5-7 scoreline. It felt like it was all Sentinels despite that, but with those 5 rounds, Immortals have a lot to work with. We'll have to see what they can do with that after this quick break. Welcome back, everybody, to Valorant Challengers 2. And here we have ourselves quite a matchup. Immortals, they did manage to find 5 rounds on that first half, but my god, Sentinels look like a train that couldn't be stopped, and they'll be on the defensive side this time. So Immortals, have to see what they're made of here to kick things off with. Looking like they want that B bomb site.
My camera is triggered.
All right, well, looks like that push is not going to come into fruition, not just yet at least. That will be stopped by that ice orb. If there's anything that's going to kill a push, that will do it. And in fact, I really like this from Sentinels. They're going to be pushing B main, so if Immortals take this too slowly, they are going to get caught really badly. They're never going to expect this timing. There is someone lurking behind as JC Stanley gets taken down. The spike is spotted, and now look how this mid attack is split up because of that pressure. And they're going to have to try to split the B site. I don't know that there's much more that they can do in this current position. Got B having control. Immortals might just be able to capitalize pretty heavily on Sentinel's push in that B main position just moments ago. Indeed, it's looking like Sentinels, that's going to backfire for them.
I have no idea how that happened, Dan. It felt like Sentinels just outplayed them so hard. Like, Immortals just had, you know, the old buy 5 frenzies, go B strat. And Sentinels stalled it out, and then were immediately on a flank. And then Shaz seemed like he was in a good spot to get a kill mid. And everything just fell apart. I can't believe that they won the round so cleanly.
Yeah, it really looked like a perfect timing from Sentinel. Like, it seems so Galaxy Brain what they were doing there. But hey, Immortals, they have a lot of experience here, and that's definitely coming into their favor in that instance. And All right, Gangster's going to get a tag on one player on A Heaven. A fast push onto the A site, looking to do the damage. We have Zoms at the back of the site, somehow taking down Chemicals. I don't know how much longer he's going to survive here. Playing Ring Around the Rosie there on the screen on site. Immortals will be able to get that spike planted momentarily. Defending around elbow. Looking fairly good right now. Dapper and Shazam doing some damage.
This is a
Just
whole
a classic.
save, Dan.
Yeah, they only had classics really, right? I don't understand. But Dapper looking to cause some problems. He's doing some damage here with that classic. How is he still alive? Dapper swaps out for the ghost, and suddenly, with the health as it is, it's looking scary, but he'll get taken down. That threat will be eliminated. Oof. They can do that with a save like that. That's not going to feel good for Immortals.
Yeah, that was a very scary, even 1-on-2. That was totally winnable. I can't believe even Immortals even handled that 1-on-2 the way they did. How shot up dry peeks out. He could have gotten one shot. He took a very unfavorable fight at the end right there as far as the angles go. Ended up winning it though, and he's sitting at 20-7. He's just destroying this game on an individual level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been really impressive so far. Playing quite far back positions here. Shazam not looking to challenge a ramp or be isolated from his team. He knows the possibilities here. Immortal's going for a fast one again into the A site. Zom's playing elbow. That's a really good start. Oh, it's even better now. 3 frags from Zoms. He's done everything he needed to. JC Stanley, it's time to do 360s here to try to figure out what's going on. He is surrounded at this point, trying to play this backside position. It's a nice first kill, but the trade, the spacing is great from Dapper, and Sentinels pick it up.
I had to bite my tongue. I was on the verge of saying how look at the impact of the Sova, right? The drone tags the jet, forces her into heaven. The recon tags, I think it was Sinatra coming out of spawn, gets him fragged. So the Sova looked like he single-handedly opened up the site. And then Zoms just gets a 3K. Just takes it home with the 3-piece. That just completely flipped around on its head.
Yeah, that was awesome to see. Well, this is gonna be interesting. The equipment is not the best for Sentinels, obviously. Though there's lots of, the stingers are so good on this map. There's so many good ranges for it in terms of the types of fights that you want to be taking over important areas as well. See this close range positions around this wall here in mid here for Sick. Ooh, feels a little bit scary right now. His wall is being destroyed. They know that he's there. He's in trouble. He's not going to escape that position. Great pick early on from Immortals in mid. Do they reset from this spot? It's looking like Sentinels want to double down, though. They're going to go straight back in. There it is. Spectre from Sinatra trying to throw the util in. He doesn't want to give up mid. I don't know that his team agreed,
the understatement
but he
of
didn't
the century. He did not want to give that up. He was going to fight for days. That was crazy. Everything's chilled out. He's a
tenacious man.
Yeah, everything's chilled out now. We have everyone going back to A. And again, though, the Sova's impact, you can see the recon is that's what caused Sick to give up his spot. I think they're just not used to playing Sovas on split.
Left.
Cover going out.
And again.
Making their way through to the A site now. Suzanne with a quick pick. Dapper in 1 versus 2. He has a lot of opportunities here to make this one work. They're both players backside. I think he's got that information. See what he can do. Creeping in from elbow. If he can isolate one fight, get a quick headshot. That's all it takes. That's some good information. Spots a barrel. Oh, the spray comes through. Dapper's gonna do it. That's unbelievable. Both in the corner. And he makes it look easy. I think he just got hit by like one stray bullet. That was it.
Oh, he thinks they're still alive? Yeah. He's like a couple extra bullets on the ground right there. I don't know. The old Sentinels shoot the dead bodies. That was very well played by Dapper. He walks right up to the trip, and the second he breaks it, he pounces. You can see, you really don't have time to react. It's so quick that you can see Sova can't swing quick enough, and they end up lined up. Oof.
Yes, this should do. That goes there.
Yeah, so smart. And the way that he was baiting Gangster's bullets there as well by just like jiggling the corner. Just really perfect stuff there from Dapper. Every player on this server is so dangerous.
Man, the early round protocols from Sick, just pre-slowing like that, so that way no one can ever peek mid early. Oh, the raise ult into B, jet knives. This is a full retake.
Yeah, you can. I feel like Sentinels, they gave up the B site, recognizing the ults at play. They didn't want to get caught by anything, one would assume, and they play the retake game. And they do have a lot to work with here. Oh no! Chemicals tries to make it work with the right-click knives, but Dapper takes him out, and look at this forward space now gained by Sentinels. They're looking really strong for the retake. We've got Immortals stuck all the way back in B main. They're having to do so much work. Sentinels certainly with the advantages here. And look at how locked down this B main position is. Putting the pressure on, the defuse comes through. There's nothing that the remainder of Immortals could do. Oh, wow. It all started by just that fight there, I think, from Chemicals in Spawn. If he's able to get at least one kill there in Spawn before dying, it could have been very different.
Jeez. You could see they had the plant. They used the new plant spot on this version of Split, so you could see it from B main. They evacuated towards B main with a Sova and a Cypher. Those are both agents that can give you intel on the other side of a smoke. It seems like it's a good idea. It seemed like it could have gone their way. But the sheer amount of smokes and pressure and the speed which Sentinels retook that site made it all not work. That was insane how Sentinels retook that.
Yeah. I think you make a really good point. In the early round, there's so much utility available. Shutting the B main position down is a lot easier in the situation where we have fast rushes.
Oof. That right there is why people don't like picking Sova on Split. The elevation changes make the ult super difficult to use.
Push comes through, the TP backside from JC Stanley. Another look on this B take from Immortals, and Sentinels once again having to go for that retake. We'll see what they can do this time around. It's not really too much in the way of ults to help either side out at this point. Oh wow, Sick getting a freebie there as Nature tries to run across to B main. And Shot Up there, dropping down off the rafters, looking to hold on to this spawn position. It was a problem last time. Shot Up still doing damage. Great work from him so far as he's able to reposition. And Sentinels, they have a res available. Sick. Can he find a spot to pull it off? I don't know that he will be able to. He's going to try it, though. There's the big bait that line up, though. That was ambitious. And Shot Up is still alive and kicking. Dapper, though, doing the damage, doing what Dapper does. And Dapper's going to find Shot Up. And that's all she wrote. My God.
It's so... I can't believe it. Is a res like that good in your eyes, Dan? I'm on the fence. I'm debating it in my head right now. It's like, if someone did that res to me in a ranked game, you'd probably tilt a little bit. Dude, you just literally fed me to the wolves. We were both dying right there. But it cost Sharp to use all of his bullets. He had nothing to do. He had to just sit behind the box and just wait for his death from Dapper. So it all worked out, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like it is kind of like 1000 IQ move from Sick in that sense. Just not hesitating, popping the ult at the spot where he can never defend his teammate, and he's definitely going to. Yeah, who knows, man? How you can even analyze spots like that. But JC Stanley back with a vengeance here, actually catching Dapper, lurking his way through B main, walking through B main. Okay, he's gonna get stopped this time. Dapper, but we've got to respect Immortals. So this is a dreamlike start. You get a pick early on, 5 versus 4 on the attacking side on Split, and you got ropes control. This is great right now for Immortals.
Yeah, are they going to take this towards B? The spike is towards B, but they have a lurker on both sides of the map. So this could end at A or B, given, the setup that they have going. I think they're just waiting for pressure from Sentinels, and Sentinels just isn't giving them any openings right now.
Yeah, this is interesting for Immortals trying to, or Sentinels rather, trying to give some space up. Oh, Sick though. He finds the timing, and the double could change everything. Immortals now have a lot of pressure. They have to get the spike planted, but they're losing players quickly. Now comes the ult from Sinatra, the double. JC Stanley's got so much to do, and he's going to get hit by that blind, and there's nothing left. And 12-7 now for Sentinels. And it felt like there was a timing there, Sean, where if Sentinels didn't find that spot, if Sick didn't find this spot to push, and there's just a couple extra seconds for Immortals to set up. I feel like Immortals are going to have a way stronger round here.
Yeah, that it seems like everything was going in Immortals' favor. But when you watch that from their point of view, which is what we got, I mean, one of their players gets paint. Sick runs out through smoke, makes a huge play. Like, that is a huge play to open up the round. Then they get a paint shell frag. They get the ult kill from Sinatra. The Boombot is hunting down a third player while that player is simultaneously getting Omen blinded. Like, think about what those 3 players experienced. That's insane. Like, they were all over it, even though it looked like they were in an unfavorable scenario.
Sentinels, so scary on split. I think this series was always going to have the potential to go to 3. We'll see if they can save things here. The ult comes through, the showstopper there. The satchel's out. Forward position here for Immortals. Shot up can't find the damage, though. It's Sick instead causing problems. Even more problems. Dapper now is going to be just delaying things for Chemicals. Eventually takes him down, but this B site is still held by Sentinels. It's just Nature left. Sentinels. There is something about the way that they play this game that just hits different to everybody else. And they're going to take down Nature. That's a wrap for map 1. Split in the bag for Sentinels. It was a sketchy start to things, Sean, but they quickly righted the ship.
They're just so good on an